Hello.
Hi.
So we have we were talking off camera and I was like, Trisha, we need to stop now. We need to just start because we were saying so many things and we were just talking about how once you start to find the alignment within yourself, it's like everyone just starts coming. And I feel like Trisha is a sister of mine that I've been, and she said that to me, and I just resonated with straight away. And it's not weird. You notice this? You know now, like it's just like there's this energy that's not weird about it when you find yourself, is what I think.
Oh, when you finally find safety.
Yes, exactly. So I'm gonna let Trisha just explain a little bit about herself and how her journey and what she does now. Um,
Thank you, Joseph, for the beautiful, beautiful introduction. I'm so, so grateful that you've invited me on here. The moment we met through Cloudette, actually,
yeah.
through Skystrology, I just felt such a connection to you. I was like, whoa. When you meet someone, you're like, I want to talk more to that person. That's exactly how
I knew that as well. Like you were down below me, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to her. I don't know it. And every time I would come on, because I couldn't always join the chats, but every time I would come on, you would always be there. Like it was
Yeah.
just like okay. But
Yeah. I felt exactly the same. I was like, yes, Josie.
I love that.
Oh, the love, the love. So a little bit about my story. I'll start somewhere kind of in the beginning ish. Between kind of the ages of 14 to 19, I was out of control. I was, partying in any way I could. I was constantly seeking something outside of myself to, in retrospect, fill this void I had within me. And so, fast forward to age 20, and I became suicidal, basically. I was very, very inundated with dark energy, dark thoughts. I allowed and chose for it to consume me at that time. And it was a very, very, very difficult time for me. And I was in kind of between age 20 and 21, and I kind of realized, like, something's not quite right. I knew deep, deep inside of me that there was more to life than perpetually drinking, going out, and repeating that cycle. And so that's when I sought out CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And that really helped me to bridge the gap between my thoughts and my emotions. And I started to move from suicidal to just depressed, which was huge amounts of progress for me at the time. And, I was working in the City of London. I just finished a degree in banking practice and management and was in the financial services industry, and everything
Did not
was,
I did not know that. It makes sense. Okay.
yeah. I know we're going to learn lots of stuff about each other. I'm excited. And, everything on paper was looking good. Good money, good job, good prospects. And I continued my healing journey, exploring all the modalities I was resonant with. But what I found is that still there was, something wrong. There was something else in there that didn't feel quite right because I'd kind of moved from depression to now just constant anxiety, which again was huge amounts of progress for me. And so as I began to do more and more of the healing work, get deeper and deeper into my meditation, I've been meditating for the past 7 years daily. I started to realize that I had suppressed huge amounts of childhood trauma. I realized that I was sexually, physically, emotionally, all the ways abused as a child. And that hit me really hard when I realized that because I didn't know what to do with that. I was like, okay, good. I'm aware of what's happened now, all of the stuff I've suppressed, but what do I do now? How do I overcome this? And so I kind of frantically went around looking for psychologists, for therapists, for someone who would understand what I was talking about. And I had experienced kind of traditional therapy with the CBT in the past. And, you know, obviously it did move me out from suicide to depression. So it did do what I really needed at that moment. But having someone kind of just gawk at me, you know, silently in that way just wasn't what I knew I needed. It was so disconnected, you know, it was so sterile almost, the way that those sorts of sessions and those sorts of experiences are conducted. It's very, we follow protocol and we do this, and, you know, the person that's dealing with you isn't necessarily using their intuition and their empathetic nature and, you know, those sorts of stuff. So I eventually came to realize that the person that's going to be able to help me through this is me. And that was from a lot of asking, just asking meditation. How do I do this? You know, asking my higher self, how is this going to work? How do I get from where I want to be? How do I get from where I am now to where I want to be? How do I alchemize, you know, this emotion, this feeling, this deep-seated trauma? And so I'm still working in the financial services industry, you know, moving up the rank, everything's looking all rosy, but inside I'm just like, oh, it just doesn't resonate. The glamour of traveling had worn off, the glamour of, you know, events, meeting people, the idea of status, the deeper I got into my spiritual journey, just wasn't doing it for me anymore. And the more I started to see myself, I started to see that I had been, in a way, had a bit of a mask on, you know, to fit in, to make sure that I was not too weird and, you know, out of sorts compared to the rest of people. And eventually I came to realize, once I had overcome all of this trauma, once I'd worked through all of it and built my own methodology through that, I'd realized that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be helping other people who have been through childhood trauma themselves to overcome it. And so that's where I am now. I call myself a childhood trauma expert. Um, Essentially, I see the divinity in you, and I help you to see that within yourself through a series of methodologies. And yeah, along the way, you know, end of 2020 was, you know, the latter half of it was monumental, because that's when I met beautiful souls like yourself. That's when, you know, I opened myself up to soul family, because like you were saying, well, we were saying earlier, um, it's like we were kind of underground in this basement, you know, we couldn't see clearly. And then now we're rising above and we're able to see clearly. Now waters are rising at the same time, and, you know.
That guy, we're being pushed up from, because I was telling her about this dream that I had, and we were like I was on underground, these tunnels, and I had this little light, which was probably my third eye. I was following this light, and then I noticed there was a light above me, and I crawled up and I could see everyone who's my soul family. And this is what people think, like, when they tap into aliens and stars, and like, we, Trisha is an alien. We're the aliens.
Yeah.
Those futuristic stuff, that's us as well. And we're just finding the people who are in alignment with that future. Okay, so that's what that feels like for me. So, you know, the aliens aren't coming to say, we're your soul family. It's Trisha, it's whoever else is in your life, the people that you connect with. They are your soul family. They're your starseed family. Um, and that's where it goes forward in the timeline that we're on, which is very, very abundant and full of love. So I just wanted to say that, because a lot of people ask me, like, about the alien stuff, and I'm like, where are the aliens? Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's so interesting, you know, here on this planet where everything physically manifests as well. It's like we are the aliens. And then also we will at some point, I think, view a materialization of that experience as well. So that's reflected in all mirrors in all ways.
So it makes a lot of sense now to me. Because I thought, okay, that you must have went through a lot of childhood trauma, because I said this to you before, that you have this really abundant, like Mother Earth energy. Even it's from your voice, as the strongest part of it is the voice. Your voice has a very soothing and Mother Earth kind of energy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so relaxing. It is so grounding, because it's like you just speaking is meditative, like to me. And I'm just like, I need to wake up here. Because you just really soothe, and you kind of get people into that trance just by being yourself. And I think with me being the way I am, I'm very silly, and I'm just kind of like, whatever. I think I get that inner child out of people as well. But I feel like with you, you're able to really transmute the dark. Whereas for me, it kind of, I'm not as comfortable with that, because I did it very quick. A childhood trauma thing came up with me, and because it was so bad, and it was just one bad thing, and it finally it came to the surface, and I got rid of it, and I was like, okay, we're done. So I don't know, it's just a different experience, but I know just from you having that light of that grounding energy is kind of like why you went through that process. And I think with anyone that really wants to do shadow work, Trisha is the person to go to, because she'll really take it. Yeah, you'll take it to that level comfortably. Whereas I just personally, I just feel like I'm a seer. I just see things for people. I can show you what I see. But Trisha has the voice to kind of bring it through, because voice is magic. It's a vibration that, you've just listening to her speak will help bring that up. And this is the thing about people who are healers. You can be a healer in so many different ways. Like I was talking to my friend the other day, like hairdressers, they're healers, because they just, they never shut up. they chat.
Crown chakra activations.
Exactly. I find that sometimes when I go to the hairdressers, I wanted to, because I have questions that my hair self basically had asked me to ask you. And
can I just quickly say, you've never had a session with me, but you see me, and because I know that I have Gaia running through me, and that I am the mother, I feel like I am a mother of many, many children, and have been. And, the fact that, like you said, you're a seer, that you can see me, honestly, this is one of the things that will happen to you guys if you come in contact with your soul family, is that they will be able to see who you really are. And when you have that reflection, it is the most beautiful, loving transmission of love and safety, like Maslow hierarchy of needs. At the bottom, the very basic need is safety, stability, root chakra, safety, stability. It's the foundation. And I think this is why we're all so happy, because we have, and genuinely happy, we've got that stable foundation.
And that is the hardest thing though as well. It's going back down to basics. Whenever someone's in a really low place, I keep saying, we have to break it down to baby bite-sized pieces here. And by that, it's drink water, get out to nature, get more sleep, make sure that your needs are met. The basics, like if you could like transmute yourself into thinking like a caveman again, what did you need back then? It's kind of like that, because when people get into these states of like disassociation from themselves, it's because they've just forgotten how to work the energies that are in the body that need nurturing, is just like anything else. And that's something that I keep feeling like our bodies are a miracle. It's a miracle that we have blood rushing through us, a heart beating, a brain that tells us everything. Like, this is a miracle. So we have to kind of like, for you to be able to channel into the collective energy, you have to be able to understand what's going on in your own body, because that's when you disassociate. When you don't know your own body, you can't really understand the universe as, or the reflection outside of you, as much. So I always say, back to basics, simplify everything one thing at a time, one new thing at a time. Like, for a whole week, I just started getting up early, and that changed everything, because everything just fell into place then, because I just changed one thing that I thought was the main thing that was really taking my energy, which I wasn't sleeping enough. And that's when everything changed. So I have a question.
We just swap timelines.
I have no problem sleeping though. Oh, geez Louise, now I'm like, I never really did, but I was getting up really late, and it was I'm trying to work on my masculine, like, organizational skills a lot, because I'm bad with that. And for me to do that, I need to not really have distractions. So I like to get up early in the morning and do that then, because my mom comes in, I'll just talk to her, or if if there's stuff happening around me, I'm like a dog. I just get distracted. Squirrel. Oh my God.
Are you more right-brained as well, like me?
Oh, very, very. Yeah, I'm very right-brained.
Yeah.
I would say I'm like as far on as you can go. But it's been really nice though, because I'm having this nice balance of people that come into my life who are left-brained, and they, like Claudette, I would say she's got a very good balance of the two.
I know. Yeah, she's so left-brained for being so right-brained.
It's so weird, isn't it?
No,
But
that's the same thing.
That's that like, for anyone that actually thinks like they're not creative and stuff, but if you're into the spiritual stuff, I think those people are even more anchored in, because they understand the words and all of the stuff that's been manipulated. Whereas we can just kind of see where we're going, but we need things to change that are already have happened that are not right. You know what I mean? With certain things and certain texts and stuff. So we need people like Claudette, who is very much spiritual, but also knows how to analyze things that are already here in fine print, if you know what I mean. I wanted to ask, so did you ever, I don't know why this is the questions that my higher self told me to ask you. So I feel with you that when you finally, and same with me, when I started doing my passion, that's when miracles started to happen. But when was that moment of surrender for you, like, to finally be like, example, for you being in the banking system, when was that like final moment to say, I'm done with that? And how did that all change then? Did you start to notice like everything changing?
It's interesting actually, because I knew I was unhappy there. And so I was meditating so much throughout the day to kind of get through it, because, bless them, they are wonderful people in their own right, but we weren't in alignment. The people I was working with, we didn't have much in common, and I would make the best out of the situation, always share love and be love wherever I am, but it wasn't the right environment. An environment when you are, bringing your soul and your body together is important, because like a shark can only grow so big if it's in a small tank, but if it's in the proper environment, it can grow to its full potential. And so I would almost feel like the universe was pushing me out of that situation. Like, it would be difficult. It was a struggle every day to work there. It had all the status and everything looked shiny and nice on paper, but I hated it. I'd come home crying, You know, I knew it was out of alignment, but I didn't know how or what exactly I was going to be doing. And you wanted to help people. And then slowly it just kept getting pushed out, you know. It wasn't the right place for me. And so then that was the point where I was coming to an end of a contract, and I had to decide what I was going to do. Am I going to pursue? Am I going to, continue the contract? Or am I going to leave? And really, in retrospect, looking back now, all of that meditation I was doing up until that point really helped me to surrender in that moment, to know that your needs will be taken care of. You will be looked after. And continuing to hold your intention on being of service helps you to align with that. You know, if you are wanting to help people, but you want to have a big TV show to do it, and it's not necessarily for the right reasons, it's going to weave itself in a kind of a weird way. But if you continue to hold your attention and intention on how can I be of the highest level of service, that was always my question. How can I use what I know to help other people? Then I was slowly aligned I was moved in a certain way, and I received certain drops and downloads about how it's going to happen. And then you keep following your intuitive nudges. And I think through following through on those intuitive nudges, do you begin the process of surrender. You know, I had dreams of kind of snake skin type kind of peeling off my face as I was peeling off the layers that I had accumulated, the bullshit in a way, you know, that we pick up along the way. Maybe it was karma, maybe it was environment, maybe it was trauma, or a mixture of all of those things. And as you keep holding and opening your heart space to do what's truly in alignment with you, and keep asking, how can I continue to be in alignment? Then the process of surrendering continues. And it's a gradual process. It was for me anyway, because for a long time I felt like I was straddling this 3D reality and then straddling the spiritual world. And it was a little confusing because, you know, I started to not be very relatable to friends and family, you know, wondering.
That's the weirdest part, though, when you're like, I don't know what to say. But have you found, though, that you've eventually come back to get to that? Yeah.
Through the shadow integration work, because, you know, you work on your shadow, you dissect it, you look at all the deep, dark and dirty stuff, the uncomfortable stuff. And then you're like, oh, I'm not like that anymore. I'm, you know, all loving and stuff, and I don't project anymore. And then, you know, and then you've got to bring it back in, because when you've pushed that part of you out and you're no longer aligning with that part, then that part of you is out there fragmented. It's outside of you.
Yeah.
To really remember your whole incompleteness of who you really are, you've got to invite it back in. And to invite back in, you've got to forgive. You've got to see clearly of the reason why you did what you did back then. Because during that time of being, you know, out of control and crazy and stuff, as I began to see who I really am, I really pushed out that part of me. I was like, that's not me. That's not me. I don't do that anymore. And one thing that was hugely significant for me, and I feel called to mention it here, so maybe there's someone out there that also would benefit from this. I did something called Vipassana, which is an ancient Buddhist technique of meditation. It's kind of the granddaddy of meditation.
Wait, what? Hold on. Oh no, I thought maybe there was one I looked at earlier today, and I was like, if this is the one.
And basically, the Buddha rediscovered it 2,600 years ago. I think this is actually now 2,600 years later when I've done it. Of course, this is how this all works. A full cycle, which, you know, signifies completion as well. Another little drop. But yeah, so anyway, when I was going through that, where basically you're meditating for 12 hours all day, you don't eat anything besides brown rice, sesame oil, and salt. So you get rid of all of the consumption, which opens up so many doors. It's
Brown rice, sesame. I just got sesame oil today. So weird.
no way. And and you're not supposed to talk as well. You're in silence. And it is fascinating what goes on in here, in and around, when there's just you. And I was doing it in this room because I did it in February. And so many realizations came through about consumption. You know, I'm sure we can talk about that because that's fascinating, about why I did what I did, you know, as an adolescent, as a young lady. You know, some of the things that I was so disgusted and disappointed by myself, I had so many drops and realizations about why I did those things. And that was huge for me, because even though I'd done forgiveness work on myself and I did the shadow integration work, this was that completion. This was me fully seeing clearly, because that's what the word Vipassana means. It's insight meditation. So it's about seeing all of it clearly from neutrality, from this 0 point, from this place of love, compassion, the heart center, you know, not just seeing with the eyes, but seeing with the heart. And that also really helped me to surrender, because I was able to put it all together. Like, I was able to see the journey as a gift rather than half of a gift and then half of a bad time. Now the whole thing all packaged up is a gift. And the Buddha says, when you complete a whole cycle, it produces wisdom. And that's exactly what it did for me as well.
Wow. That sounds that sounds very similar to, I'm going to try it though as well, but whenever I'm sick, people are probably sick of me talking about this, but I spoke to you already as well. One of my closest like guides, it's not really my guide, but a guide that I like to kind of like just work with and kind of see what he has to say, is Mapacho, and he's the tobacco bird of the tobacco plant.
Yeah.
And he brings you to that 0 point when you do it's the snuff. I should keep one here because I always talk about it and I never have it to show. But I'll put the links and everything down below. And it was the other night. I hadn't done it in a while, to be honest. I usually do it every evening. And yeah, I did blew it up my nose, but it was really intense because I had no sinus issues. So the tobacco ashes just went straight up, and the burn, you can feel the burn go like the whole way back. And I was just like breathing through it. And he doesn't like a lot of music. He likes very slow music, and he likes black. He likes darkness. He likes silence. He's a very grounding energy. But he came and he's just like, his energy, I just feel it, and he just sits in front of me and he was like, sit. He's like, don't get the tissue, because you have to kind of blow your nose sometimes. He's like, just sit. And I was just sitting there, and it was not that I don't want to scare anyone. It's not that it's painful. It was just, it's uncomfortable, because again, it's medicine. Medicine can be like that. Depends on what kind of medicine you like to use. I like to use it because I find comfort in discomfort. Sounds weird, but I am that person. So I was sitting through it, and I was trying to like meditate, and I'm trying to be like, okay. And then, because like it was up my nose, and I was like, I can't. I was like, like that. And the voice just came straight. He came straight through, and he was like, this is why pain is necessary, because pain teaches people how to breathe. Pain teaches people how to feel. Pain teaches. He just kept going and going with things, and I was like, whoa, okay. And then after that, I kind of blew my nose, and I closed my eyes, and I had my eyes closed and it was completely dark, but in the darkness, with my eyes closed, I could see the light. You know, when you close your eyes, you can actually see almost like this water flow of like the small little speckles of white light kind of in through that. So even there's always in the complete darkness, there still has to be light, and you know, it's vice versa. And it was just like, at the end of that, got a little bit too intense for me because I hadn't experienced that kind of level of like, holy crap. But he got fear out of me because I was able to channel into the collective mind from the fear's perspective, and it was so loud. It was a lot of fear and screaming and like really, really intense. And I was like, and I was trying to breathe and sit through it. And he was like, "Do you want to take it a step further?" And I was like, "No, no, no, I'm okay." And at that point, I was like, so I just say that because if anyone is really wanting to work with a spirit that's no bullshit, he's full on like wisdom, I would recommend just researching. I'll put links again for whatever we're saying and down below. And I want to just, anyone that wants to follow. Oh, is this Murd?
No, not for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that correct though?
Yeah.
And that I just didn't have enough space, so that's Trisha's handle for Instagram, but it's all connected. It's not separate. But there you go. For anyone, because some people don't like the description box or they don't know where it is or whatever. But yeah, I want to. Oh, that's funny now. Leading into my next question.
As we do.
Yeah. So we were talking about this as well before we even started. We're talking about like how we wake up every day and every day feels like magic to us, and it's so hard to explain to people because it's so personal to us. But you know, and I know because we go through the same things, but they're different. I want to say, like, from your cup, what is magic? What is the magic like in your mind? Like, what is your place that you like to go to, or what is your day even like because of you believing in this magic, that inner child stuff?
You know, I probably became more appreciative and the most aware of the magic when I remembered my wholeness. When I remembered who I am, when I remembered my soul, my love, I was really able to appreciate the everyday weaving of magic that's all around, and the full-on synchronicity. I mean, when you're just in one constant synchronicity, like of new synchronicities, like it just becomes normal for you.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened with me and Joe earlier, is we were talking about something and I was just like, hold up.
It's a secret that I have that I'm still working with, but I felt like I had to tell Trisha. And like, of course, Trisha gives me a confirmation. She shows me a picture and it freaked me out. And it's just like, that's as well. I feel like, you know, when you have a secret or something that you're not ready to tell people, but when you're in alignment with your truth, you know who to tell it to. Do you know what I mean? Like yeah.
Safety.
Yeah, I was like, I know, I trust to tell Trisha because I know that there's a reason for it. And then she's like, well, and you were smiling the whole time I was telling you, and you were like, wait a second till I get my phone. And I was like, oh, okay, but I'll tell people eventually, probably. But
yeah,
it's crazy how this all like lines up. And
yeah,
would you say that I just want to be honest. A lot of the manifestation workshop kind of like, stuff, would you say that that's a waste of time? Because not a waste of time, but there's still going to be people that need that, because that is still a stepping stone. But I feel like for people that watch me and you, that isn't where we're aiming for now, because we're in a different kind of world where it's, you don't need, I spoke to this, my friend, you don't need a mentor to just hold on and believe everything that they say. That's the wrong way.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
do you think that, because like manifestation for me now is, I don't even have to try to do it because I have dedicated my time to understand myself. That's where you need to start again.
Yeah, it's so interesting you say that, because I think I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I was thinking about this as well. Because we came first, you know, the way shows, and we had to, you know, carve our own path out that wasn't already there, create our own. And that's why we went through all this crazy stuff in our lives, because that gave us the direct experience of how to overcome something. Because divine masculine is knowledge, but divine feminine is experience. And so we needed to have both so that we could create this bridge, so we could create this understanding and compassion. So for me, we went kind of the long way around, the long route, so that we could see the big picture, so we could see all the different elements that need to be taken into consideration when you are essentially, you know, being who you truly are, you know, and emanating who you truly are in the world and fulfilling your purpose. So it was good for us to have gone down that D route or that side route to understand that world. But now I agree with you, we can help people to bypass that and come on the fast track, the fast lane, straight here to eternal life. You know, you don't have to go through finite life, cross the bridge of, you know, finite and finite, and then make your way to eternal. Come join us here on this eternal path, and we'll take you down, you know, the shortcut.
And I like to think on this is like, just from my perspective. So the people that were my mentors, they didn't know they were my mentors because some of them are just watching videos and stuff like this. And, you know, they owned their truth, and I learned from that. But I was able to then, because they done the work that they did and they got to that point in their life, I was able to take that, implement it into my own belief, and amplify it more. And it's not to say that I'm better than that person then, but then I'm able to sort of take it a level further. And then as I do that, they can kind of step down a bit and relax because someone has taken it further. And then the next generation, they'll look at this. It's like celebrities. We look up to these BS celebrities that aren't doing anything for us other than make us feel worse about ourselves. But it's the exact same thing. They get these celebrities in the limelight to idolize. But this is what it is with spirituality and finding your own mentor. Don't just jump into someone without really knowing your own truth first, because you're going to go down their path, and then you're going to have to start again and find like, okay, that wasn't really resonating with me, but I tried. You have to really find your truth first before you jump into things. It's just like, because I'm not here to like promote, I'm here to help people. Like I sometimes I would get people that would keep coming to me for readings. I'm like, you really don't need another reading. There's some people that were just doing it too much. I'm like, I'm here to help, but like now it's enough. Enough is enough. You know what I mean? You kind of, and that's why I don't like to predict when I read for people. I like to just show people where they're at, because I see quantum and each time I come back to them, I see that there's new spaces have opened for them to kind of access, because it's all created in the mind first. But yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that.
I do. I totally agree with you. Like, I think it's so important that, you know, if you're working with someone, they don't create a codependent relationship. You know, we're trying to get out of all of those things.
Yeah.
Don't want more codependency.
Thank God I got out of it. It was the worst.
Oh gosh.
Did you have a code? Did you have that?
Oh God, yeah. It was like everything in my life pretty much. Yeah. And I think that kind of stems from the childhood trauma of not feeling safe.
Yeah.
You don't feel safe, then you look you're like searching for safety, and then when you find something safe, you're like, oh, without this I cannot survive, you know. And so you've got to be able to learn how to survive on
You
your
have
own.
to be your own leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this is going to be great for your discernment when you're choosing to work with someone. You can always ask them, hey, what's your intention? You know, what would you like? What is your goals? How is, you know, how do I fit into your life right now? How would we flow together? Because that's honestly what it is. It's not a hierarchy. I mean, the earth's distortions will tell you it's a hierarchy. And that, you know, the person who's your guide is above you and the person who's your mentee is below you. But really, we're alongside one another.
I'm hearing we're all this.
Yes.
Because it's literally what it is. It's like,
Yeah.
even with darkness, okay, I see, because if you think on evil entities, they don't see past a place, okay?
Yeah.
But it's like exactly what I said. We have to surpass them with the light, the love,
With love.
to it kind of, for me, it feels like though it closes up for them, but it's like it's their version of death, okay? That this place that we're going to, it will eventually close up where the darkness won't really be. But they try to stop us because they don't believe that that's possible, that you can go further than that. So that's what it's all about.
Tunnel vision. It's in the
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah. So I feel like that's where we're going with this. So even with evil people in the world and stuff, there is a they had their purpose as well. But you need to know, you need to know now why they were there, why we had to have them there. Because if they didn't do the bad things to us, we couldn't take it further for them and us, because we're all one thing. And I know like people have their perspectives on different dark energies and stuff, and I get it. But at the same time, I just blast everything with light.
Yeah.
I don't have to be angry. I don't have to be frustrated. I just get in alignment, and anything that is dark, I'm like, I will blast you with light and you will not affect me, basically. Like, you'll not be able to manipulate me. And that was all through learning through my codependent relationship. I learned to be more in my leadership. It's like, I am the boss. I say what goes. And I'm really like, I would think I'm like, most of the time, I'm like a really happy person. But if someone tries to come in with their bullshit, I don't take it, because if you went through what I feel like you're the same, if you went through what we went through, you can't accept.
Yeah.
You cannot, if you take that energy on, you have to clear it then again.
Yes.
And it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. But I don't know how long we've been going. I forgot to check. But
I feel like we could keep going for about 10 days.
I know I'm definitely getting you on more, like a lot, because I feel like we just flow very, very well together.
Yeah.
So,
this is fun for me. This is like an ideal day. Hey, what would
I
you like
know.
to do today?
I know. I can't believe that this was the thing that was missing for me. Like, I still loved, I'll never ever let my like tarot cards go, but like I don't need them, but I
are
like,
the tarot card. You are the
yeah. They're like my toys. Like, I like to play with them.
They were like your guide. They were your teacher at one point, like a mentor.
Yeah. And on my channel, I'm still going to do my energy updates, and I changed. You see, the thing with me is I don't like to stay stuck for too long. So doing these shows with people, it's a way to kind of get the energy moving for people, as that maybe have been watching me for a long time, and they haven't really been searching for other content, and then they have someone new to go to. Do you know what I mean? This is the energy exchange that we need to kind of welcome into the new year. Collaboration. And I
was just about to say that word, competition versus collaboration.
Yeah. And competition is that spiteful, that energy. So collaboration, it has to be gentle too. That's the thing. I would like to say that because, people are a little like forceful with collaboration because they have the wrong idea about it as well. They think that it has to just be like free and flowy and just like gentle, I would say.
Well, I guess they, maybe it depends on their intention for the collaboration. If the intention for the collaboration is to grow the business, exclusively, then where's the love in that? Where's the service? Where's the more expansiveness than just the material reflections that you may have? Because that's what really changed for me, is really, really, and I mean really, understanding that what I'm doing here is to serve.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you have to push through the contraction of this idea that you're here to make money and lose weight,
It's so funny. We're flowing into what I want to ask you. So, because you were in the banking system, and like I had no idea. I had no idea about. I got some of these drops came through watching Jilly about how the moon manipulates the stock market and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I just resonated, and how they knew about all of that and whatever. But now we're moving into this world where crypto is a thing, and for some reason, God keeps putting all the stuff in front of me for me to research. Like, I did not try to learn about crypto. I swear to you, it just kept coming at me. Yeah. And I'm like, why am I? Because when I check in with my higher self, I'm going to be very abundant, very, very, very abundant.
I feel
almost too abundant for me to even handle. So I was like, okay, what is this? And the reason for that is because I'm here to serve. God's giving me that currency because he knows, she knows, because it's both things. I call them they as well. God, I have so many names because it's just an energy of us, source, whatever. It puts everything in the hands of those now who are going to do good things with it.
Exactly. Eternal economy. Exactly. Upcycling the money that's already in the system. It's a lot like with our water that's been on the planet since day dot. We're upcycling the essence of the water, returning it to its origin. Because the same water's been here, since the beginning of time, hasn't changed. And we're alchemizing it, we're transmuting it, we're reviving it into living water now. And same like the money, maybe at some point, because of the distortions, because of the stagnancy, because of the manipulation, we were circulating manipulated money. And now, I've actually had the exact same vision that I'm going to be very, very abundant. I think a lot of us who are all connecting at this time are going to be, and we're learning how to be responsible with bringing that eternal essence to the world, to Mama Gaia, for many, many eons to come, for the future generations.
I love that, because I keep getting dreams of, I keep getting these dreams. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, this is so funny. It's this community, and we're in harmony with the trees. It's like the houses are connected through the trees. And there is this, it's just, I keep seeing it. And there's this like fake tree that's like an elevator, and it takes you up. Wow. Don't tell me you know.
I showed Cloudette a fake tree when she came to like go for a walk with me recently. That is
what?
Crazy.
It's like this, it's this community. There was a name for it. I need to do meditation again and go into it, but it was amazing. Like, you would walk in and you wouldn't even, I don't know how to explain how this is happening though. It must be some weird technology that we're going to use, but you're on ground and like everything is just like nature below. But then you can go to these fake trees and they take you above somewhere. I don't know if it's like way above or how high above it is or whatever. but it's just like it's some kind of technology that feels like it works with magnetism and stuff like this as well, but it's above the trees.
That's
so like
crazy, because there was like electric points around the trees. I'm just like freaking out right
now. What the heck? Oh my god.
I'm gonna take a picture for you.
You have to send me this, because for some reason I have a few communities. So this is the thing I see for the future is we're going to be able to visit all of these communities and take things from each community and build our own. And build our own little collective, because in the future you won't be able to create cults. That was the old way. It's not going to be possible, because the karma won't let you have that life.
Yeah.
you
It's harmony or you're out, kind of.
harmony, or go to the hell that you believe in.
We're back then.
Yeah, go back there. See you later. But yeah, I think we'll just end it about here. Do you have anything else that you want to say? Or actually, yeah, do you want to maybe just speak for people where they can find you? I've give your Instagram, but what's your website called?
It's www.recalibratewithtrisha, so sameway.com.
Yeah, with the 8. Yeah. So recalibrate with Trisha.
Yeah.
And yeah, you do. I'm pretty sure you do like a free like call consultation.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can book in a free discovery call, and ultimately what it's about is, if you're going through something right now, maybe there might be something deeper to it, or maybe it's just something on the surface. Either way, I help people who've got childhood trauma as deep and traumatic as mine, but also those who are just experiencing anxiety and depression or are having a tough time. There are many ways that we can work together to make sure that you get from where you are now to where you want to be. And I have no doubt that through this work, which will, my intention is to empower, so that when you leave the sessions, you have everything that you need to go on your merry way. And then should you ever need, in a year's time or something, or a few years' time, to resolve something else, then I find that clients come back and we talk about that. But how Joan I was saying earlier, it's so important to find someone that wants to empower you and help you to see your divinity. And that's what I do. And I'm also a Ho'oponopono master practitioner, which is such a powerful way of cleaning up karmic bonds, debris, past lives, this life. That when we work together, I am practicing that. So when it comes to the sessions, the path is already cleared, and that's how we get results so quickly, because we go kind of straight there. We're able to dive in very deep. So if you're interested in that and you want to see if it's right for you, then you can book in a free discovery call, and we can connect and we can work out how we can work together if it's in alignment.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Trisha. And I'm sure I'll have Trisha on very soon.
Yes, I would love to. I feel like we have way more things.
I know, I really do. And I know I'm going to meet you and Claudette very soon. Whenever.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Hopefully like things kind of are freer. Well, London is a lot more freer now. Here in Ireland, it's still a bit weird, but it's just people have to get into reality what's really happening. But I think things are going to start feeling a little bit more. Myself anyway, I'm definitely going to start traveling. Whatever's happening, I'm like, no one can really stop me. If I want to go somewhere, I'll go. But yeah, I'll be meeting you probably very, very soon, and I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, me too. We have to do one in person as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be so fun.
But yeah, I'm gonna finish the recording here now, and you can stop. Your recording is too? Yeah.
Yes, I will stop as well.
3, 2, 1. Bye bye, everybody.